I'm Vitalik Buterin. I'm the president and the chief scientist of the Ethereum Foundation. This is the thing that everyone's waiting for. And everyone's waiting for, sort of the killer app. But I don't think blockchains have a killer app. It's the sort of technology have the potential to kind of create fairly substantial, but kind of more moderate improvements that will spread out over a very large number of industries. As we're seeing right now, finance is where it's starting, and there's like 10 different areas in finance that seem to be getting about equal attention. There's at least 40 banks that are very interested in blockchains, at least interested enough to put a huge bunch of money into R3. You can kind of see some of the benefits already. Transfer money anywhere around the world as easily as sending an email. Participate in any kind of financial contract, also as easily as sending an email. Machine-to-machine micropayments, very exciting idea that you can kind of just, very efficiently kind of pay on demand for a whole bunch of things. Consume a service for 1 minute, pay 2 cents, consume it for 2 minutes, pay 4 cents, and so forth. One of the consequences I'm excited about is just the sort of greater accessibility that this technology offers. Both accessibility for users and what often gets forgotten is, accessibility for developers. Basically, 12-year-olds can, build their own platforms in all of these industries, where before, they'd have to have banking relationships, a whole bunch of other things. It seems like, maybe next year we'll probably see starting very large movements in, other industries like, IoT, notarization, government documents, everything else as well. So first time I came to China was back in May 2014. I was extremely impressed at the time. I remember going into some of the companies that had literally over 100 employees, which is like bigger than anything you'd see in the US. Since then, I've been coming to China and Hong Kong, Singapore a couple of times as well. Singapore is definitely a very technologically progressive government. They seem to be very interested in blockchains. In Hong Kong, just like in a lot of other cities, people are getting very interested in blockchain technology, and there is sort of some favorable movement towards smart contracts as well. Every city I visit, there's about like 2 or 3 companies that are interested in doing something in this space. There's this large company in Shanghai, it's called Wenxiang, that just got very interested in blockchains and Ethereum about 6 months ago. So they're starting some fairly major efforts, and we're working pretty closely with them right now. Before then, there was a very large and impressive Bitcoin community, but it was mostly just Bitcoin trading, Bitcoin exchanges, Bitcoin mining. And in October, I actually really got the feeling that people were starting to understand, the concept of blockchain beyond Bitcoin, all these sort of other applications that people have been thinking of, and now it just seems like the space is quickly booming. There definitely are blockchain applications that do have the property of completely getting rid of some intermediaries, but the problem is that if you look at markets in practice, I think that it's going to be fairly hard to kind of break through the network effects of companies that are kind of very entrenched and monopolistic already. And I personally think it would definitely be very good for society if a decentralized Uber were to exist and just replace the corporate one. But it is hard to actually get into that market because if you only have 2 taxis on the road in every city, you're worthless. The institutional direction definitely has been kind of getting much stronger, and I think the reason is just the fact that the institutions have a huge amount of money, so they can kind of kickstart things more quickly. I'm sure we'll see entrepreneurs kind of keep banging that angle the next few years or so, and I'm definitely excited about how it turns out. But at the same time, the sort of institutional path has a lot of advantages. It's a very quick way to get to mass adoption. You don't have to convince millions of people, just convince a few guys at the top, flip a switch, and you got 200 million people using a blockchain, and I guess that's valuable too.